Are you pulling your hair out every time you have to run a meeting? Well, I'm going to give you some tips on how to make your meetings more effective coming up right now. Our topic today is how to run a more effective meeting. Look, we can't get rid of meetings. They're part of our lives. But we can do things to make them more effective. One study showed that 47% of managers said that meetings were the biggest waste of their time. So how do we make meetings more effective? The first thing we want to do to make our meetings more effective is ask, is this meeting necessary? Now that seems pretty simple, but a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people just continue to go to meetings and they're not really sure what's going on. It's on the schedule, so I just need to show up. But if you are chairing a meeting, you need to ask, is this meeting necessary? Is this something I can take care of in an email or a phone call or a chat? If so, then you don't need to have the meeting. So make sure you ask, is this meeting necessary? So the next thing you want to do is make sure that the objective of the meeting is clear. So is this a status update? Are you brainstorming ideas? Are you trying to get a decision? So you need to have a clear objective of a meeting, and it needs to be communicated to everyone that's going to attend. So if you're trying to get a decision and you have an employee that's still brainstorming ideas, they're wasting your time and everybody else in attendance time. So we want to make sure our objective is clear and that it is communicated to everyone in attendance. Next, you want to make sure that you invite only necessary people. So if someone is not relevant to the meeting and the topic's not relevant to them, they're going to tune out and it's going to affect everyone else. So we want to make sure we invite only necessary people. And also, if someone sends a proxy in their place, we want to make sure that they have the ability to make a decision. We don't want to have another meeting down the road. So we want to make sure that we invite only necessary people. Next, and this is very important, we want to make sure we start and end our meetings on time. It seems pretty simple, but I see this every day. A meeting leader will wait 5 minutes after the time before they start the meeting to allow people to log in or to come by. Well, once a meeting leader does this and they get a reputation, then guess what? People aren't going to start showing up until 5 minutes after. And those people that attended, that got there on time, they're sitting there wasting their time. They're like, why do I need to be here? So we want to make sure that we start our meeting on time. One study showed that if a meeting started on time and they had a clear objective, it reduced the time in meetings by 80%. Just think about that, 80% time savings if we have a clear agenda and we start on time. And let's talk about ending on time. Well, number one, we don't want to go over the time, right? Everybody's time is valuable. If your meeting is supposed to stop at 3 o'clock, then you need to stop at 3 o'clock. But if your meeting is supposed to go till 3 o'clock and say you're finished business at 2:40, 2:45, then stop your meeting right there. There's no reason to continue going just because you get 60 minutes. Don't take the full 60 minutes if you don't need it. So we want to make sure we start and end our meetings on time. Next, you want to be the host. And what do I mean by that? Well, everybody's going to look to you because you're going to be opening the meeting. So you need to have a positive attitude when you come in. You don't need to be bemoaning the fact that we're in another meeting. You want to have a positive attitude. This affects everybody out there. You also want to play the traffic cop. So if somebody is hogging the conversation, you want to call them out. You want to say, Bob, whatever his name is, I realize you have something important to say. However, I'd like to hear what other people have to say. So if you will, please pause and let me hear from others. This lets this person know that they are hogging the conversation in a polite way, but it also lets others know that you expect to hear from them. And by playing the host or a traffic cop, we want to make sure if somebody goes off on a tangent that is not relevant to what we're trying to do, we want to stop them and remind everybody what the objective of this meeting is. So we want to play the host for the meeting. Next, we want to ban technology. What do I mean by that? Well, everybody brings their laptops in, I get it, right? And everybody is taking notes. Well, what they're really doing is catching up on their email, and they're not paying attention. So as a meeting leader, you want to tell everybody, phones, laptops, put away. You want their full attention on the topic at hand. So ban technology. Lastly, we want to follow up. So as soon as the meeting's over, you want to send out an email to everyone that was in attendance, and you list who was in attendance, you list what decisions that were made, You list any open action items and who's responsible for those action items by whatever date that you've decided on. By doing so, it lets people make sure that we are all on the same page. So you want to follow up with your meeting as well. Look, we can't get rid of meetings. We just can't do it. But we can make them more effective by following these simple tips. So I hope this topic was beneficial to you. If you have a question about this topic or any topic that you would like to see in the future, please put it in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Until next time, good luck with running an effective meeting.